as requested by DafuqDidYouSay? A story about a vampire princess who defeats the evil werewolf queen. That's a little bit easier. Thank you. Thank you very much. Once upon a time, there was a vampire princess named Marigold. Marigold had lived thousands of years, being a vampire. She believed that it was okay to suck the blood of humans, but never to kill them. Never should a human be killed. And only if the human consented should the human be turned into a vampire. She was very strong in her values. But there was also a pack of werewolves, ruled over by the Werewolf Queen. The Werewolf Queen and all of her werewolves constantly raided the villages of the land. And unlike Marigold, they would kill any human that they saw. The humans were smart enough to stay in their buildings and hide from the wolves, but sometimes there would be a child or an elderly person who was not aware of the danger or just couldn't get away fast enough. One day, Marigold decided that she had to do something about the Werewolf Queen. The werewolves, she knew, were only following orders. They would go, they would capture some humans and bring them back to the Werewolf Queen for her dinner, and then the rest of them would get the scraps. So, Marigold gathered all of the ingredients for a special anti-werewolf potion. She gathered the toenails of child mosquitoes and the stingers from crazy New Hampshire bees and tin foil. She mixed them all into a potion, and once it was created, she set off for the Werewolf Queen. The Werewolf Queen lived in a large cave on a mountainside. It was not near any of the villages, because if it was near the villages, it could easily be found. And if enough humans got together, I'm sure they could have taken the Werewolf Queen themselves. So, Marigold climbed the mountain. It took 2 days to climb that mountain. And by the time she was at the cave, she was very hungry. Now, something that you may not know about vampires is they cannot drink the blood of werewolves. Otherwise, they themselves would turn into werewolves and be servants to whoever they drunk the blood of. If that person dies, or if that werewolf dies, that vampire will die with them. So, Marigold went into the cave and was immediately faced with hundreds of very angry werewolves. They had to protect their queen. Luckily, Marigold could fly, and they could not. So, she bolted into the air, well out of their reach. But the werewolves were smart. They started to form together and pile on top of each other to get at her. But this was a very slow process, so she easily got past them, and as they bumbled out of their formation, there was nothing that they could really do. Eventually, she got to the door of the chamber of the Werewolf Queen. It was guarded by the strongest and the largest werewolves. But there was very few of them. Not too many werewolves could get near the queen. There was always the possibility that, even with their inherent loyalty to the queen, they may still break out of their brainwashing and attack her. So, Marigold quickly cut down the guards at the door with her vampire sword of vampiric wisdom and broke down the door. The queen of the werewolves stared at her and growled, "What are you doing here, vampire?" "I have come to slay you, queen of the werewolves," Marigold responded. "You have been killing the humans, and you certainly don't need to. You could eat any of the animals in the land, but you chose to eat the humans. You too were once a human, were you not?" The werewolf queen laughed, a sickening laugh. "You don't know me. Yes, I was once a human, but what is a human? I had forsaken my humanness to become something greater, something more powerful. And it is my right as a more powerful being to eat whatever I wish, and I wish to eat humans." So, Marigold took out her sword of vampiric wisdom and ran in to attack the werewolf queen, but the werewolf queen quickly batted away her sword, and she was defenseless. Except she still had her teeth. Marigold, desperate to help the humans of the land and to free the werewolves that she knew were only following orders and brainwashed to do what they were doing, made a noble sacrifice. She lunged at the werewolf queen and dug her fangs into her. The queen. She sucked every bit of blood that was left in the werewolf queen's body. The werewolf queen slumped to the floor and lost all of her werewolf powers. She turned into a very old, ugly woman. Marigold had a moment of pure bliss before she too succumbed to the curse and died with the queen. The werewolves that remained, some still loyal to the ways of the queen, were killed off by the others who knew of the horrific acts that they had all done. They went off and joined the other humans, made peace, and explained their plight. Being extremely strong and agile, they were welcomed into many villages that needed the help. And to those who survived, everyone lived happily ever after. The end.